Good day, everyone. I am Arnil L. Palmero, and today I will be taking you on a fascinating journey through one of the most powerful and culturally rich civilizations in Northeast Asia, Russia's civilization. Often known as the bridge between Europe and Asia. Russia's civilization is a blend of Eastern traditions and Western influences, a story of endurance, empire, and evolution. Let's begin with geography. Russia is the largest country in the world, spanning over 17 million square kilometers, stretching from Eastern Europe across the vast Siberian plains to the Pacific Ocean. This immense territory made Russia a melting pot of Asian and European influences, shaping its unique civilization. Historically, the roots of Russian civilization trace back to the East Slavs, early tribes that lived near the Dnieper River around the 9th century. These tribes eventually formed Kievan Rus, the first Eastern Slavic state, ruled by the Varangians or Vikings from the north. This period marked the beginning of organized governance, trade, and cultural identity for the Russian people. One of the defining moments in Russian civilization came in 1988 AD, when Prince Vladimir the Great adopted Christianity from the Byzantine Empire. This led to the rise of the Russian Orthodox Church, which became the heart of Russian culture, art, and moral values. Religion influenced architecture, giving rise to the beautiful union or onion-shaped domes we see in the churches like St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow. It has also shaped tradition like Easter celebrations, icon paintings, in the deep spirituality that remains a strong part of Russian identity today. As centuries passed, Russia grew into a mighty empire. Under rulers known as Tsars, such as Ivan the Terrible, Peter the Great, and Catherine the Great, the empire expanded across Asia, reaching Siberia, Alaska, and the Far East. Peter the Great, in particular, wanted to modernize Russia, introducing Western technologies, reforming the army, and even changing cultural habits. He built St. Petersburg, a city that symbolized Russia's connection to Europe while maintaining its Asian soul. This era transformed Russia into one of the most powerful and diverse civilizations on the planet. When we talk about Russian civilization, we can't miss its rich culture and artistic heritage. From the emotional depth of Dostoevsky's novels, the grand stories of Tolstoy's War and Peace, Russian literature reveals the nation's soul, exploring themes of morality, faith, and struggle. And music, names like Tchaikovsky and Rachmaninoff and Stravinsky brought Russia to the world stage. In art, Russian iconography and pop signs remain distinct, symbolizing faith and tradition. Even their architecture, with colorful domes, towers, and intricate carvings, reflect a mixture of Byzantine and Asian influences, giving Russia a civilization unlike any other. In the early 20th century, Russia underwent massive change. The Russian Revolution of 1917 ended the rule of the Tsars and led to the rise of the Soviet Union, a socialist state that became one of the two global superpowers during the Cold War. Although communism collapsed in 1991, the legacy of that period in industry, science, and military remains strong. Modern Russia, officially known as the Russian Federation, continues to play a vital role in Asian and global affairs. Today, its civilization reflects resilience and innovation in a complex blend of East and West, truly embodying what we can call the Northeast civilization. Russia's civilization contributes greatly to the identity of Asia. It has shared scientific advancements, cultural exchanges, and political influence throughout the continent. Its literature and philosophy inspired thinkers, while its art and music reached people beyond borders. Most importantly, Russia symbolizes unity through diversity, a civilization that bridges Europe's rationalism and Asia's spirituality, forming a cultural link that connects both worlds.
To sum up, Russia's civilization is a story of transformation, from ancient Slavic tribes to one of the world's greatest powers. Its journey through faith, empire, revolution, and rebirth reflects not only the endurance of a nation, but also the spirit of humanity's quest for identity and progress. This Russia, a civilization of strength, art, and resilience, standing proudly as the cornerstone of the Northeast civilization. Thank you for watching.
Russia, the largest country in the world, covers a vast expanse of areas from Eastern Europe to Northern Asia, spanning an incredible 17 million square kilometers. Russia has now become a powerful political, economic, and social entity in our modern world. The history of Russia traced back to the history of the people called Slavs. In 862, the first East Slavic state, known as the Rus state, was founded and led by Viking Oleg of Novgorod, in the area between the Volga and Dnieper river basins. In 882, it captured Kiev, uniting the northern and southern lands of the Eastern Slavs under one authority. In 1998, Christianity was introduced in the Rus state from the Orthodox Christian Byzantine Empire by Prince Vladimir I. His son, Yaroslav the Wise, who ruled the state from 1019 to death, introduced the first code of law, Russkaya Pravda. Under his reign, Kiev then soon became the center of politics and culture in Eastern Europe. From Grand Duchy of Moscow to the Russian Empire, 1283 to 1917. In the 13th century, the Mongols invaded Kievan Rus and established the Golden Horde, with the Rus' principalities as their vassals. In 1480, Moscow gained its independence from Mongol rule, forming the Grand Duchy of Moscow or Muscovy. In 1547, Ivan IV, or Ivan the Terrible, became the first Tsar, Emperor of Russia, transforming the Grand Duchy of Moscow into the Tsardom of Russia, with Moscow as the predominant state. From 1551 to 1700, Russia grew by 35,000 square kilometers per year and was transformed into the Russian Empire in 1721 under the reign of Peter the Great, with St. Petersburg as the new capital. The next century witnessed the expansion of the empire, stretching over 3 continents, Europe, Asia, and North America. In 1914, Russia entered World War I on the side of the Allied powers, including Great Britain, France, Russia, Italy, Japan, and the United States, against the Central Powers, including German, Austria-Hungary, Ottoman, and Bulgaria. The rise and fall of the Soviet Union, 1922 to 1991. The Russian Revolution in 1917 ended the Russian imperial rule, resulting in the formation of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic. The Russian Civil War broke out later that year and ended in 1923 with the establishment of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR, the Soviet Union. The capital was moved from St. Petersburg to Moscow. Vladimir Lenin ruled the Soviet Union until his death in 1924, when Joseph Stalin came to power. Under the rule of Stalin, the country was transformed from a peasant society to a military and industrial power. On September 1, 1939, World War II broke out between the Allied and Axis powers. As part of a non-aggression with Nazi Germany, the Soviet Union invaded and annexed the eastern regions of Poland, followed by its annexation of Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Romania. In June 1941, Germany launched Operation Barbarossa against the Soviet Union. In response to this, the Soviets joined the Allies in the war against Germany. On May 8, 1945, after the fall of Berlin to Soviet troops and Hitler's suicide, Germany surrendered unconditionally, marking the end of the war in Europe. After Japan's surrender on September 2, 1945, World War II ended with a total victory for the Allies. Following the war, the Soviet Union formed various Soviet satellite states and emerged as a superpower and rival to the United States in the nearly half-century-long Cold War. After Stalin's death in 1953, Nikita Khrushchev, a powerful Soviet politician, came to power, embarking on a policy of de-Stalinization. Under his rule, the Soviet Union grew rapidly, with the world's first human-made satellite and the first human into space. In 1980, the Summer Olympics were held in Moscow. In 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev became the Soviet leader and was later elected president in 1990. In the same year, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for bringing the Cold War to a peaceful end. In December 1991, following a failed Communist Party coup against Gorbachev, the Soviet Union was dissolved and Gorbachev resigned. Russian Federation, 1991 to present. Following the dissolution, all of the Soviet republics emerged as fully independent post-Soviet states. Among these, Russia, or the Russian Federation, became known as the Soviet Union's primary de facto internationally recognized successor state. Boris Yeltsin was the first elected president of Russia. In 2000, Vladimir Putin, a former KGB officer, was elected president. He was then re-elected in 2012 and served till now. In 2014, following the Ukrainian Revolution, war broke out between Russia and Ukraine. In 2018, the FIFA World Cup was hosted in Russia. On February 24, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, escalating the ongoing Russo-Ukrainian War. This led to international sanctions being imposed against Russia. In March, Russia was expelled from the Council of Europe and suspended from the United Nations Human Rights Council in April.
Thanks for watching. If you find this information useful, please give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos of history.